Hello and welcome to Side Character Quest. This is Ty as per usual, and with me today is that same special guest from last time.
Hello. This is Faye. Should I do my whole intro stuff here too?
Let's go ahead. Yeah. Hello, Faye. Tell us real quick about the shows you're on.
Yeah, so I am on 2 current podcasts. I play a dwarf paladin on How the Quest Was Won, which you can find on Twitter at How the Quest, as well as a half-orc fighter on Misfits Guide to Adventuring, which you can find on Twitter at Misfits Guide. And I just finished up streaming a Masks role-playing game on Scraticus Academy on Wednesdays, which is why I'm here now.
Yeah, nice. So, last time we met Larissa, a tiefling sorcerer who had recently come into possession of a treasure map through, I believe you said, unscrupulous means?
Correct.
Yes. And you were at a lonely outcropping in the Salton Sea, looking for a small, meager crew of folks to help you track down this treasure and reclaim it for yourself and make your way back to your boat and continue on. It's a nice little side quest for a nice character. Now, before we go into it, do you have any questions or anything that you want to comment about from the first episode?
No, but I'm very excited to hear Christopher Walken again.
You ready to go in? Ready to hop straight into this?
Right in? Oh yeah.
Yes, let's do it. I'm shaking my fist to the sky. All right. You have been sailing on your ship for a while now. It's not that the Salton Sea is particularly large. In the grand scheme of things, it's actually pretty small. But the winds and currents are strange and hard to navigate. Fortunately, this map that you stole, this map included pretty excellent explanations on how to navigate the island. Unfortunately, the only safe place to set down is pretty far from the remains of the mansion which houses the treasure which you seek. But fortunately, there is a road that cuts straight from that point through the island to the mansion. As you're approaching on your boat, cutting through sandbanks and half-hidden rocks, are you doing anything? How has this trip been? It's probably not been too long, maybe a week or so.
I would say that the trip has probably been pretty smooth. I think based on the personalities, Larissa and Celeste and Remi have gotten along pretty swimmingly.
Okay.
They've probably all kind of like to brag a little bit. It sounds like all 3 of them like to brag. And so they've been doing a little bit of one-upmanship.
Okay, I like that.
That may not necessarily be true. You know, like, well, one time I fought off a giant werewolf. It's like, oh yeah, well, one time I fought off a bronze dragon.
Oh, well, you guys were sleeping the other day. There was a crew of fish people that rode up to the boat, hopped on, and I saved all your lives. I fought them off with just my trusty dagger and my nice little longbow here. Help me out. Didn't you, boy? Yes, you did. Thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah, you guys have been just constantly like one-upmanship. The rest of the crew that's just kind of like, doing their jobs. They're just kind of like, okay, all right, chill out, guys. We're just trying to do our work right now. Well, as you guys are approaching the island, as you're cutting through those sandbanks, dodging those half-hidden rocks, roll me a perception check.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's a 12.
Okay, a 12. So as you guys are approaching, you notice a few like very, very, very old looking docks, which makes sense because as far as you know, like nobody has really ideally, nobody has been here in a very long time. There are lots and lots, a surprisingly large amount of of ship wreckage. It's just so many, just like these broken, very, very old ships. One of them is actually like very large and just has like this massive mast that is mostly in tatters. However, you do see a safe place to dock that's near a small stucco boathouse. If you want to just make your way right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So as you guys approach, Captain, my captain, how exactly are you going to want to do this exploration? I assume you'll be taking myself, your number 2, and Remi, clearly number 3, ashore to find this treasure because we are so well equipped. But what is your game plan?
Well, what time of day is this?
Let's say, what time of day would you like it to be? I was imagining around noon, but I would be happy for it to be frickin' whenever.
I was gonna say probably like early afternoon, like 1 p.m. So it sounds like we're kind of on the same page. Let's say noon.
Same page.
Noon.
Let's say, yeah, noon. Noon works.
Well, I think that we should dock. I agree. I think the 3 of us can go ashore and explore, and that will leave the rest of the crew here to watch after the boat. I have a few spells, and so if we are in trouble, I will shoot up a fireball. In 4 hours' time, if we're still doing okay, we want you to stay out here, and I'm talking to the rest of the crew, I will shoot up a ray of frost.
Nice.
And if we're on our way back, I'm running out of spells to shoot up. I will. Oh, here's this. I have thaumaturgy. Do you think I could like yell really loud?
Yell really loud. I would say that because of the sound of the waves and because of how large this island is, you wouldn't be necessarily confident that they would be able to hear you. It's possible, it's conceivable.
Yeah.
But it would be a bit of a stretch.
All right, then I will send up a big mage hand that will be waving.
I dig it. That's good.
Or whatever other hand gesture. If you see a very large hand in the sky, that means we're coming back.
Doesn't matter whether it's flicking you off.
Yeah, it could be flipping you off. It could be like rock on.
Perfect. I love it. You give your instructions to the crew, and as you do that, everybody starts to, Remi and Celeste both start to unload. Remi has strapped to his back he has strapped on his hip a small quiver of arrows, as well as some sort of rangery tools. You also see Celeste is in full armor, and as she steps down, just makes this most obnoxious like noise of metal clattering. But she looks well defended, very tanky. So as you guys are getting down, you look around and you see just the sand is very, very warm against your feet. You see tall marshy grass, like the sort of, do you know what Spartina is? It's like this tall reed-like grass. I don't know why I thought you would know what that is, but yeah, it's this very tall reed-like grass that is just waving on the shore. Oh, you also see, like I said, that stucco boathouse, all of that ship wreckage, some bleached white driftwood on the shore, and farther in, you see the beginnings of a forest with a road entering into it.
Excellent. On your point of knowing what any plant life is, I'm getting married in April. My florist was like, "What kind of flowers would you like?" And I was like, "Pretty ones."
Solid.
I don't know any flowers.
I mean, hey, listen, pretty ones, not a bad choice.
Not a bad choice. She's like, "Do you want eucalyptus leaves?" And I was like, "I don't know what those are." I think I'm gonna whip out the map to take a look and see in which direction we have to go. And in the meantime, I'm gonna tell them the story of how I found this map.
Okay.
So as you know, this map was gotten, not necessarily through ill-begotten gains, but as the listeners may remember from last time, I am a thief. And so this map was taken from one of my previous places that I may or may not have robbed. But really, they had too much money, and that money really should go to the poor. So it was definitely just a redistribution of wealth.
Definitely.
Really, from the house of a very, very rich family with lots of guards outside, but I slipped past all of their nets, risked my life to get this map. So we really need to make sure that we go ahead and find this treasure. It was from the house of Google, and I will call this Google Maps.
How dare you sneak that joke into my house?
So I'm gonna whip out the Google map.
I'm gonna go ahead. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna give you inspiration for that. That was delightful.
Excellent.
What would be the skill for reading a map? I feel like it would be survival, but I would believe something else.
No, I agree for survival.
Survival?
Yeah.
Roll me a survival check to see how good of an idea you get of sort of the landscape here.
Sure. Oh, that's a natural 20.
Whoa! Okay, cool. I was gonna say that you would have to do incredibly bad to not know how to get to the place because like you have had time with this map. You wouldn't have come here if like you were completely lost.
Well, it is a Google map, so it's going to tell you,
it is a Google map.
Take the second lane to the right exit, you know?
This is where the gas stations are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you take a look at this map and looking at the landscape around you, you start to piece together aspects of certain landmarks that you hadn't quite understood. You get an idea of the shape of the shore. You are able to sort of like hone in on exactly where you are on this map and get an idea of like the scale of it and so forth. So you think the distance to this mansion is probably not too far. It's probably maybe like a 4-hour walk, something like that. And it's almost exactly a straight shot down this road that is cutting through the island. You do notice a few things as well on this map, such as you notice a section that appears to indicate some sort of blue farmland that you'll be passing through before you get to the mansion. The mansion appears to be just sort of overlooking that. You also notice some sort of indication of a zoo or like a menagerie that's really, really far away, not really something that you could easily get to, but it is there. You also notice along the route that you're going to be taking, you notice a small outcropping of buildings, although it's a little unclear what those buildings are for. And also on various points on this map, it has those little like sort of here be dragons kind of indication, you know, where like little drawings of different types of animals. And those animals include things like a weird feathery bird, a boar, and some donkeys and things like that. So
We're going to avoid those areas. First, I'd like to just check out this boathouse. What's in this boathouse?
okay, roll me a quick investigation.
Rolling quite well today, but I don't add anything, so that's 16.
You notice there's not a whole lot to this boathouse. You notice what appears to be a very, very old book that is mostly the pages seem to be like falling apart, but it seems to indicate some sort of like record keeping, maybe boats that have landed and left, sort of tracking who has taken dock here, but like the paper's falling apart. You do also notice behind the boathouse a small wheelbarrow, which could potentially be useful for hauling treasure 4 hours. So you're not just like carrying it yourself.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Celeste,
Yes,
are you how weighed down are you right now?
I am a very strong and powerful person. Have you not looked at my glistening biceps? It's glistening because of the plate mail, but even if not my scale underneath, so powerful. I can move whatever you need. Don't you worry.
Absolutely. How do you feel about pushing this wheelbarrow?
No problem. I am probably the best there is at pushing wheelbarrows.
All right, excellent. Let's take that with us. We'll probably need it for the treasure, though with your strength, we never know, in case there's a lot of treasure.
We're gonna get so much, and we're gonna need this wheelbarrow. Maybe 2 or 3 wheelbarrows. Are there any more wheelbarrows back there?
Okay, let's
Hello,
start
wheelbarrows.
with one. One wheelbarrow.
Okay.
You can name it if you'd like.
I'm gonna go with Tristan. Tristan is the wheelbarrow.
Oh, excellent.
He's my friend.
All right. So
Yes.
is the treasure going to be Isolde?
What?
Is the treasure going to be Isolde? Like Tristan and Isolde? Never mind.
I
Sorry.
don't get that reference.
It's okay. It's like a Romeo and Juliet story. Anyway, all right.
Gotcha.
All right. We can cut that out. Woo. All right. On the road.
You and Celeste are walking pretty much just next to each other while she's pushing the wheelbarrow. Remi is every once in a while will just sort of roll to the side of the road, hold up his bow and like point it down a direction, and then roll another way. And he's just scurrying about, very much just keeping an eye out on things.
I assume he's kind of like scouting in the front and just like all of a sudden will like drop, roll, and then like freeze and just be like, hold out his hand. Stop.
Exactly. And it's making the whole trip take so much longer than it could. But as you guys are going, I'm gonna roll a quick check to see if he notices anything in particular. Okay. So yeah, as you're going, he doesn't seem to catch anything of particular note, although he does point off at a few things that you pass by. He manages to get you guys to avoid a small group of boar that are scurrying around, and boar get big, so that's probably a good thing. It's a nice thing to get to avoid. And he also points out as you were passing by that small outcropping of buildings that were on the map. But then after that, unless you particularly want to stop, you guys just continue on. Sound good?
Yeah, sounds excellent.
You guys are just jamming out as you go along, and it's pretty chill. Well, I say it's pretty chill. It's pretty hot, and there's a fair amount of mosquitoes out and about. So every once in a while you're getting bit as you go, which is just highly unpleasant. Fun fact, the time that I went to the island that this is based off of, I got bit so many times by mosquitoes. I literally was getting bit through my denim jeans.
No, oh my gosh.
It
How?
was insane. I don't know, but like I also stepped in an anthill, and I had like many ticks on me. It was just there were so many insects on this place, and I imagine. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say that I imagine Ossaway Island is pretty similar to Ossaway Island. So yeah.
I'm going to summon Mage Hand,
Nice.
and it's probably gonna be 2 Mage Hands if you allow that. 2 small Mage
Yeah, go for
Hands, and they're just gonna be like constantly just like clapping at mosquitoes, like just around me.
It's like when a horse's tail is just like sort of swatting.
Yeah, exactly.
So as you guys are going along, I had Remi make a roll to sort of see what was going on. What's your passive perception?
It is a 12.
12. Okay. So as you are going along, you don't notice anything super out of the ordinary for a while. At one point though, you do hear off in the distance a bit of these weird animal sounds, like sort of a kind of sound way off through the trees, but it's fairly far away. Eventually, though, the Spanish moss hanging from the trees and the trees themselves start to open up, and you find yourself walking into this road that has on either side of it just these massive fields of these bright blue flowers. These tall green stalks with just these little blue flowers lining up the side of those stalks.
I appreciate you describing the flowers instead of just saying them, because you knew that I wasn't going to know what you were talking about. I was going to be like, what's Spanish moss, and is it different from French moss?
Okay, so Spanish moss is there such thing as French moss? Because
I'm
that would
just
be really
kidding.
funny.
I don't know.
Okay,
I was just going to be
sure.
like, yo soy moss versus like, je m'appelle moss. Sorry. Okay.
Oh, that's very good. So Spanish moss is this sort of like tendrils of this sort of gray-green, this like stone green plant life that hangs down from trees. Have you ever seen any pictures of Savannah, Georgia, or anything like that? Those sorts of that sort of weird material that's hanging down from all the trees. That's Spanish moss.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah, you don't want to touch that stuff when it's on the ground. This is just a little PSA to anybody listening. That stuff gets infested with parasites real fast. Ew. Yeah, it's real bad scene. All the bugs I mentioned before, they ain't got nothing on these guys. Leave them alone. But anyway, in the trees, it's just beautiful and picaresque. The other stuff growing up, roll me a nature check, I guess.
Rolling so well, 19.
Heck yes. Okay, so in your time living with more affluent and proper people, sorts of high class and people of expensive tastes, you learned about a type of flower called indigo, which is the sort of just this plant that does not grow in a lot of places, and when it does grow in those places, it can like rake in the dough. Looking around this field, this does not look like it's any sort of like active farm or anything like that, but it does look like maybe this place once was that. There very clearly are like the remnants of old fences and stuff, and just the way that the ground is where the trees just sort of seem to end very abruptly, feels like this place might have been terraformed. That's not the word I want, but it might have been turned into farmland.
Okay,
at some inhabited.
Yes.
Very, very specifically like turned into farmland at some point.
Got it. Cultivated.
Thank you. And the place has just been let to run wild with indigo.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's a very nice little scene. As you are walking in this direction, though, at the end of this road, you see a tall, maybe probably two-story building, like at the very end of this road, with the two fields of indigo on either side of your road, ending like right before the front of this building. And this building, it has just this white stucco that has sort of green moss and grime growing on the outside of it. There's sort of red roof tiling. There's little ornaments on the edges of the roof and on the frames of the doors and windows. All of this sort of stuff is just on this building that's directly in front of where you are. And it does appear to be the mansion that was indicated on your map.
If Celeste hasn't stopped singing, I'm going to shush her. I'm like, shh.
Yes. Oh, sorry. I will keep it down. What is going on, Captain? My Captain.
I think we're here. I think this is the mansion, according to the Google map.
Okay. And she sort of takes the wheelbarrow and, like, picking up on your cue of stealth, she turns around a little bit and puts it behind a tree that's at the front of the place.
Hey, sorry, did you think that somebody might be here? Like, why are,
I don't know. I just always approach all of my missions stealthily, just in case somebody has come through. So let's not make ourselves known. It's my thief instincts.
Very good. I'll do my best. And then she starts clunking forward straight down the middle road.
Face palm.
Remi Remi grabs her and like grabs her by the wrist and like pulls her back.
Well, I don't know about that. What? Okay, what do you?
He turns to you.
What do you think our game plan should be here? Are we gonna like how are we approaching this place?
Well, let's see. You seem pretty sneaky, Remi. Are you sneaky?
Some people might describe my sneakiness as something I'm proficient in.
Excellent. Well, let's do this. Celeste, I think you seem to be a pretty heavy hitter.
Accurate.
Why don't you stay out here, and if we need you, I will summon a mage hand, and it'll make some sign. Whether it's the middle finger, it's the rocking out sign, not sure yet. But if you see a magical hand, that means we need help.
Well, on the one hand, I
One hand.
like to, you know what? Yes.
Yeah, that's the right attitude. Just go with it. She knows what she's doing. She's the thief. She's the thief captain of the Sultan Sea. That's what we all call her. You, me, Tristan, we all call her that.
So you're going to try to stealth up to this building?
Yeah, we're gonna stealth up to like one of the windows and like peek in or something.
Gotcha. So roll me a stealth check real quick.
All right. Ugh. Not rolling as well. Yeah, so I rolled a 14.
Rolled a 19.
All right.
You and Remi approach the building. You are crouching low, going between the low bushes of the indigo, but there's only like so much that it can do to hide you, and it doesn't take you too long. Go ahead.
The indigo is blue, and I am also blue.
Beautiful. Okay, so that is why you chose to go forward with that, and it does a surprisingly good. You know what? I'm actually going to say it's super low, but because your colors match, that's why it's able to like blend you in really well. Remi, who I believe I also said he's sort of a bluish green. He doesn't trust that as much, so he has sort of rounded around the outside and is just sort of ran around the outside of the trees and then came in at a closer point to avoid having quite as long of a distance where people could spot him, hence his higher roll. So as you approach the window, he approaches behind you, and you guys both peek in. And where exactly are you? Are you just trying to peek into the first window that you get access to? Or is there like, are you looking for a particular type of room or any sort of logic to how you're choosing what to look into?
I don't think that I don't think that I would know. So I would probably just look in whatever window I could get my hands on.
Okay, roll me a perception check.
Okay. Ooh, that is a 9.
Nice, delightful. So you and Remi look in through this window. You look into one of the windows that's right next to the front door, and looking in, you see it's incredibly dusty. But you take your hand, or Remi takes his hand. I'm not gonna put words into your mouth or actions into your hands. Remi takes his hand, wipes off some of the dust, and you guys look in. You see just basically this very dusty room, this sort of foyer area. There's stairs going up into some sort of upstairs space. There appears to be some curtains that have like collapsed to the ground over time. A very nice rug that is just covered in dirt and mold in the middle of the room, and various other like, you know, ropes and things on the inside. But with a 9, I'm not going to give you much more than that. So just sort of like a scene setting.
I'm gonna then sneak over to the front door and I'm gonna try and turn the handle.
We're going to roll real quick to determine whether or not it's locked. I haven't thought about that. So you pop open the door. It is unlocked, and stick your head inside.
Yeah, I take a look.
Yeah.
Sneakily.
You step inside and Remi follows. It is immediately apparent that all of those things that I had mentioned, all of those rugs and the fallen curtains, all of them are very clearly like once were of very high quality And clearly this building had some wealth in it and maybe still does somewhere, but this stuff wouldn't go for much money nowadays. You also notice hanging from the ceiling is a candelabra of some sort of metal and either crystal or glass. It appears to be maybe something that was once lit magically somehow, or something, because you don't see any actual candle holders. But it's just resting up on the ceiling, held up by one of those ropes I had mentioned earlier. Looking around the room, you said your passive perception was a 12? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the mostly what you see. So as I mentioned before, there was the stairs that went upstairs, and then there was also a couple of doors on either, which I hadn't mentioned this before. There's a couple of doors, one on either side of this room.
They're both closed?
One of them, the one on the right side is open.
Okay.
But just a hair.
Is there any indication on the map as to like where to go in the house?
No, so the map indicated this mansion, this fancy place. Beyond that, it didn't get down to that scale. Unfortunately, the Google map does not allow you to zoom in to some sort of street view.
So like two-finger pinch.
Two-finger pinch, drag the little like person and drop it down.
No, none of that stuff.
None of that stuff.
All right, I'm gonna peek around the corner into that room that has the door that's slightly ajar.
You walk over there and just sort of eek in, and you look in and you see a dining room of sorts. There's a bunch of chairs that are pulled up to a table. Some of them have, one or two of them have been knocked over. There's a couple of old tankards of ale and like bottles of different types of booze sitting on this table, as well as some knives and plates and things like that. There appears to be the remnants of a boar that had been cooked up and slaughtered on that table. Or, well, not slaughtered on the table, but cooked up and served on the table.
Huh. So it appears that maybe the people who used to live here had to leave pretty quickly. They didn't get to clean up.
So roll me an investigation check real quick.
So that is a 13.
13. Okay, so what I'll tell you with that is, looking at this room, everywhere else in the building, the stuff looked incredibly like nobody had seen this place in years. That pig specifically looks like it is at most a few days old. Like it has not. This pig is a new addition to this room.
Okay, someone's been here. Actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open my bag and take out a ration and start to leave some cookie crumb trail in case we get into trouble and Celeste needs to find us quickly. So I'm gonna take some
fun.
like dry rations and like toss them on the ground as like a little trail.
Nice, I like that. Okay, cool. So also looking around the room, you see. Well, I'll just say this: there's a door to another room attached to this. There's also windows looking over the field of indigo.
Okay.
But yeah.
I'm gonna motion for Remi for us to keep going because I think we may be close since this is the newest thing. Mm-hmm. So I want to walk through that other door, the one that's connected to the dining room.
Do you just open up the door?
No, I listen first.
Okay.
Make sure there's nothing on the other side.
I guess I should have you roll a perception check specifically.
Okay. 11.
11. You hear a little bit of movement on the other side, but it's not really anything that you can like make out, if that makes sense.
Huh.
Like it's definitely not. There's nothing like, you don't hear talking. You don't hear like anybody or anything banging around, but there's definitely like a little bit of like motion going on.
Okay. All right. I tell Remi, I'm like, pull out your bow.
Oh, you got it, boss.
And he you see him step back from you and pull his longbow off of his back, take his bow out of his arrow out of his travel quiver, knock it, pull it back, set his fingers just against his cheek to marking the draw length, and then he gives you a quick nod, like,
Yeah, go for it.
All right, I'm gonna like kick open the door and jump back. Do one of those like, huh?
So you kick open the door and jump back, and looking inside, you see what appears to be a kitchen that has a bunch of different accoutrements in it. There's a chopping block. There's some very nice looking knives with like gold handles. You see some sort of like maybe like ice box or something. You're not exactly sure. Some hooks for butchering, and then in the center of the room there is a skeletal figure wearing just ragged clothes, holding a half drunk bottle of wine. And for a moment you think like, okay, there's a corpse here, and Remi starts to lower his bow when all of a sudden the skull of the skeleton turns towards you and looks at you, and in sort of a shocked motion sits up, and you hear as the bones of its fingers like drag against the countertop as it pushes itself up. It's a very strange, surreal moment. And go ahead. Does Larissa actually scream? Yeah. So this is not, I will say, in this setting, this world, this is not a thing that you would have expected to see. This is not like a super normal thing. Unless you're going to do something in this moment, Remi is just going to let that arrow fly.
I think Larissa is too shocked. Like, it is exactly like if you walked in on a skeleton in a kitchen. What would you do? Probably scream.
Exactly. So with that, Remi says, oh, and lets loose that longbow. Let me roll. 19 to hit. There's no way that misses. Yeah, that hits and goes straight at him, hits the thing in its sort of like side, cracks some of the, or pierces through some of the ribs, and then rolls off onto the other side and lands on the ground away from you guys. Remi then like goes, oh, what the heck? And slams the door shut. What the heck was that?
I don't know, but it's the first living thing that we've seen in here. I'm gonna open the door again.
Living is a weird definition.
Living dead. Hello? Sir? Madam?
With that, the thing on the other side, you see its skull like peek up, then it drops back down, and then it peeks up again, and you see it reaching for one of those golden hilted knives that was on the counter opposite of it.
Whoa. Sorry.
It starts to hesitate a little bit.
You just really scared us. Didn't mean to shock you. My name's Larissa. What's yours? You don't have vocal cords, so I realize that you probably can't talk.
It sticks its head up, and you see its jaw waggle a little bit as if it was talking, and then it drops back down. It looks back up again. I think I'm gonna have you roll a charisma check just to see whether this thing, you're trying to convince this thing that you are not a threat.
Yeah.
And are you genuinely at this moment not a threat?
Yeah, I genuinely just got scared, and I'm assuming Remi got scared and lashed out, but I actually don't really want to kill this thing.
I'm going to say that you have disadvantage because Remi got a shot off.
Makes sense.
But go ahead and roll me a charisma check.
Straight up charisma? All right.
If you can convince me, you could try to convince me of a persuasion or a performance or something like that.
I guess it's the same thing. All right.
Yeah.
So that's a 16 plus 4, and that is that's a 1 plus 4. Okay, that's a 1.
Oh, rough. Oh, that's rough.
Oh, well.
Yeah, so with that, as it leans back down, and then I'm going to I kind of feel that when we were playing with just two people, or when you're playing with just one player, it's not really necessary all the time to roll initiative.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna let you know he is jumping forward to grab one of those knives.
Oh,
and
man.
as he does that, I will let you choose what you want to do in this moment. You can attack him, or you guys can run, or you can order Remi to do something. But in this moment, you can do what you want.
Okay. I think if he's reaching for the knife, I am going to grab at him to make him not be able to get to the knife. But I'm going to also attack him at the same time. So I think the only thing that makes sense is shocking grasp.
Oh, that's okay. That's perfect.
So I'm going to grab him, but also shocking grasp. Let's see. I'm going to roll an attack roll here. Oh, that's a natural 20.
Whoa! Double dice.
All right, double dice. So that's 2d8 lightning damage, 4d8 lightning damage.
Jeez.
Jesus Christ.
I did not realize that can do so much.
I know.
I did not realize how good shopping graphs could conceivably be.
I know. All right. So that's 6 plus 5 is 11 plus, what is that? A 7 is 18 plus another 7. 18 plus 7 is 25? 25.
That is crazy. This thing is reaching forward, and as the hand grasps onto the hilt of the knife, you rush forward and grab your hand onto its hand.
Yeah.
And then electricity, or describe to me what this looks like as it activates.
I think what happens is Larissa or I grab his forearm, kind of where right on the radius ulna part of the forearm, and he grabs the knife, and as the electricity kind of courses through him, he does a whole skeleton dance, the knife is shaking in his hand, and all of his bones are just rattling.
Very good. And are you going? Okay, so this will tell you a bit about how many HP this thing has. How are you going for lethal?
No, I think she didn't even mean for it to do this much damage. She was just like, oh, I better stop him, but he's a skeleton. What else should I do?
So when this happens, you feel like a singe. You see a little bit of smoke and maybe feel a bit of char against exactly where your hand had grabbed onto that bone, that wrist bone. And as soon as you realize how much damage you're doing, you let go just before this thing would have just gotten completely wrecked. But with that, it does collapse and land against the ground, maintaining its structural integrity. It does not fall apart into a million pieces.
All right.
But it is unconscious.
Unconscious. I would say so.
I guess.
Yeah. All right.
Undead.
All right. Undead. Unconsciously dead. Okay. Okay. That was really weird. She turns to Remi. She's like,
Okay. That was weird. First things first, though. I'm grabbing those knives.
Yeah.
he grabs the gold hilted knives and throws them into his bag.
I'm calling Celeste.
Okay.
In case there are more of these things, I'm gonna conjure my mage hand as my next action, and then I'm assuming that it outside of the house is not more than 30 feet from me. But if it is, that's okay.
No.
I can move. Okay. So I'm gonna put it at
good.
the front of the house. It's gonna be the two-handed mage hand again, and it's gonna do one of those dances. What are they called? The rave dances.
As that happens, you hear "Dally ho!" from way off in the distance, and you start hearing a clunk, 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 heading towards the house. She is not being subtle. She is heading your way. Real fierce, real strong, just coming straight at you guys.
Sounds good.
However, it was a bit of a walk through those fields, so it'll be a moment before she gets here. So you guys are out of combat in this moment.
Yeah.
What are you doing right now?
I'm gonna go. Is there another room?
So this is the looking around the room you were currently in, the kitchen. You do see there's a pantry, there's a door that leads towards the out the back of the house, but this is the end of this room. So do you go back to the foyer?
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to the foyer.
Okay, so going back to the foyer, as you head back into the dining room section where the leftover boar had been, you hear some movement going on in the foyer. You hear footsteps going down the staircase. You hear a door slamming from the opposite side of the foyer, and you just hear like a bunch of people or a bunch of things collecting in that space, in that foyer space. You also hear Celeste getting closer and closer with her clanky clank.
I'm gonna go back into the foyer with Remi, and I'm gonna be like, keep those arrows knocked.
Thanks to the Joy Drops for the use of Not Drunk as our intro and outro music. Find them at thejoydrops.com. You can find us at sidecharacterquest.com, at SCQ Podcast on Twitter, or by email at sidecharacterquest@gmail.com.
The Scavengers Network.
Creator-driven,
community-focused,
treasured content.
Hey, little mama, let me whisper in your ear and tell you about the comedy podcast Unnatural 20s.
Do we really want to limit ourselves to just saying we're only a comedy podcast? You're right, we have a lot to offer, like intellectual conversations. Well, did you guys know Australia once lost a war entirely to emus?
Do you think emus frown upside down because they're in Australia?
Like they're below the equator?
Yeah, duh.
Health and fitness.
Pasta is great, but you usually have a lot of extras. But have no fear. Thigh-warmed pasta is here. Plop the bag of leftover pasta on your thighs and eat those puppies like popcorn.
We have microwaves.
I have thighs.
You know what? Actually, we can never decide what we're going to talk about, and that's why we leave the fate of each episode up to the rolls of a d20. So download Unnatural 20s on your favorite podcast app and roll with us every Monday.
This is going to get cut and put in the bloopers.
Oh man, I just noticed that D20 tattoo.
A D20 tattoo? Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
I don't know how to show it off. Like it's like a very awkward angle, but yes, it's upside down right now. Yeah.
Oh man, that's excellent.
I only have nerd tattoos. Oh gosh. I'm very ill prepared. Where are my dice?
No worries. Listen. Anytime that that the player has to pause makes me feel better about all the times that I will make you pause while I have to look something up.
Yeah, like
so you are good.
We have to roll dice in Dungeons and Dragons.
Dice? I went to a wedding once, and the bride had asked for ugly flowers, and everybody was disappointed. They're like, "Why did you ask for these ugly flowers?" That didn't really happen, but it's a joke.
All right.
But anyway.
Woo! I imagine Celeste would sing as we go along.
Oh, that's... oh, see. I was like, oh, that's very good. And then I realized... I'm the one that does that. Let me think. What would be what would be a song?
Obviously.
What's that pirate song? Yeah.
I was gonna say the Lil Nas song.
Oh man. Wait. I'm gonna take my horse to the Old Town Road. I'm gonna ride until I can't no more. I'm gonna take my horse to the Old Town Road. I'm gonna ride until I can't no more. Got the horses in the back. Okay, we're good. Yeah. So she does that.